and come on and join me today as we're going to do a bit of crafting. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK. And I normally come on live on a Monday and a Friday to do some crafting with you. So it's Monday morning here as I go live here in the UK. Um, and it's a bit of an overcast day, but it's dry. Pleasantly warm. So yeah, it's a good Monday morning as I join you. Obviously, I have just come back from my holiday, so this is my first live for a week or so. I had some pre-recorded videos that were going out. I did cancel Fridays. Obviously, we had the sad news that Queen Elizabeth had died on Thursday, so it didn't seem appropriate to be putting out a jolly pre-recorded video on Friday. But if you are interested in what that video contained, it will be going up onto my YouTube channel later on at lunchtime today. It won't go out live on Facebook, but it will just pop up on the YouTube channel, so you can go back and check that out, and there will be a blog post with that project as well. So talking of blog posts, let me add in to the stream. This is where you will find my blog posts, and this is where you will find links to my shop and links to classes and downloadable tutorials and all sorts of things over on my website at www.loveaduckie.co.uk. So do go on, head over there, as I say, catch up on any of those tutorials and those lives and inspiration and those sorts of things. And I am coming back into an incredibly busy week this week, really hitting the ground running. So let's have a little look at some of the classes and things that are coming up in the next few weeks or so. So we have this week a kit class with the Heron Habitat products. So that is on Friday. So you are still able to come and join me live on Friday to come and make some 5 different cards using that Heron Habitat stamp and die bundle and some of the texture chic papers. So it'll be a really nice little kit, that one. There's a stamp stack class coming up towards the end of September, and there's a daytime one and there's an evening one, and you'll be able to come along and make 6 cards, 3 different designs, 2 each of each of those designs. So that will sort of give your Christmas cards a bit of a boost with those lovely regal reindeers. I actually saw some reindeers in a zoo yesterday, and it was quite exciting. I don't know whether it's a special breeding program, especially for the big man in red himself, but there were some rather impressive reindeer there. So yeah, that's gearing me up ready for the reindeer class. A completely crackers crafty games night coming up 30th of September, so end of the month. Come and join me on a Friday evening. We'll have some different sort of silly games, a bit of bingo, possibly a quiz. Who knows what we'll be playing with on that evening. And alongside that, we will be making 3 autumnal themed simple little projects that you'll receive in your kit, along with your bingo cards and anything else you require for that evening. So do come and join us for that. The price for the bingo evening is £10, and that money goes towards prizes, because the prizes are all nice new Stampin' Up products that you will love to get your hands on. So whether you are an experienced crafter or whether you've got friends who are just dabbling, or you think might just enjoy the fun of the evening, that's all held on Zoom. So yeah, do book up and come and join us for that. Other classes going on in September, we've got a pearls and puff paint technique class, and that is tomorrow. And on Saturday, there is a Saturday Stampers, which is an all-day event from 10 till 3. And we're doing autumnal things and themed projects then as well. So yes, Tuesday, Friday and Saturday, I have a class this week. So as I say, a really busy week coming up. yeah, so by the time I come live on Friday morning, I might have bags under my eyes. I may look as if I've not had a holiday in a year, let alone a few days. Other things that are coming up, we have the retreat coming up at the end, mid-October, 22nd of October. So do come and join that. There is still a couple of places left on that if you would like to come and join us for an really all day. That's 9:30 in the morning till 8 at night. All food provided, lots of inspiration, a goodie bag, a really great day. So do come and join us for that. If you can't join us in person, but you're still here in the UK, you can order a retreat in a box, and you'll find details of both of those things on my website. And the other thing we've got coming up towards the end of October is a stamp camp. Now, this is where 13 demonstrators from around the world come together, myself included. And if you buy the Boughs of Holly suite from one of the participating demonstrators, myself included, you will then be entered into the stamp camp, and that will give you 13 make and take projects that you're going to be able to do, along with written instructions and video instructions. And you'll also be entered into a Facebook group where there'll be 13 additional projects and things that you can play with. I'm just going to fiddle about with my phone a minute because I haven't turned the sound down. You see, you come back from holiday and you get out of the habit of doing things, don't you? Let's do that, and then it won't keep pinging in the background. So those are some lovely things that are coming up. Lots to keep us busy in the coming weeks. So it would be lovely to have you join me for any of those things. So do get in touch, and do check out the website, because over on the website you'll also find the classes that are coming up in October, in November, in December. So yeah, you can get planning and get those things in your diary. Right, now it's not going to be ever such a long live today, because as I said, I have come back and I'm really hitting the ground running. I've got lots and lots of things to do this week. So both today's live and Fridays might be a bit shorter than normal, and I obviously won't be coming live next Monday. I will look in my diary when I get 5 minutes to sit down and see if I can perhaps do a live on Tuesday instead, but I won't be doing a live on Monday. It is now a bank holiday here, and obviously it is the day of the Queen's funeral, so that would not be appropriate to be coming on and doing a live on that morning. But I shall be here this Friday, albeit for a slightly shortened live. But let's have a look at what we're going to be playing with today. Let's bring in my camera. I am going to have a slurp of water. I don't think I've talked this much in a week. Okay, so what have I got in front of me? You can see various stamp sets there that are autumn themed. There's some really beautiful things. There's this soft seedlings one. There's this gorgeous one with the painting pheasants. We're not using either of those. We are going to be, and I don't think that will even particularly show up necessarily on that video very well, but we are going to be using this Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder that is just tucked away in the back of that picture. Doesn't really show up at all, but we're going to be having a bit of a play with that, and a bit of a play with a favourite technique with embossing folders, and we will see how it all works out. So let me move that to one side. Let me bring in the Leaf Fall embossing folder. I don't know whether we're going to be able, whether you'll be able to see, perhaps could do with a bit of colour behind there. That will help a little bit better. So can you see you've got this 6x6 3D embossing folder, and you've got all of these leaves, tumbling leaves. You know, it's Leaf Fall by name and Leaf Fall by nature. You've got all of these tumbling leaves coming down from this top left corner, and the bottom right corner is blank. But it is a 3D embossing folder. It is really rather lovely. I've not yet played with it. Today is the day. And as you can see, I've also got around some more of this. I used this the other day, some Gingham Cottage DSP, and I've picked out the pumpkin pie one. On the back, it's got this large check with this black that looks really brilliant for Halloweeny type projects, but I've used the other side, which is a little bit softer, and I think will go perfectly. Hopefully, we may change our mind, but hopefully it will go perfectly with some leaf fall things. So I've made here a basic white square card. So this is the biggest card you can make out of one piece of A4 card. So I've taken my A4 card and I have sliced it all the way down so that it's 14.9 wide, and then I have scored it at the middle to make it 14.9 square. So that is the biggest piece of biggest square that you can make out of A4. Out of a piece of imperial cardstock, the biggest that you would make would be 5.5 inch square. So you would need to cut it at 5.5 inches that way and then score at 5.5 inches that way. So that would be slightly smaller than this one, because this one actually measures, let's have a look, inchwise is it's about 5 7/8, I think there, isn't it? So it just is about 3/8 of an inch bigger each way. But if you were going to do imperial cardstock, you'd just make your layers slightly smaller. So what I have done is I've cut a piece of that DSP that is 14.4 by 14.4. Let me just say hello to Lisa and hello to Karen. So this is a 14.4 square piece of card that paper that I'm going to put on there. And I've also cut a piece of basic white that is 12.9 by 12.9. And we will see how that all pans out. So I was looking at the screen and I could see like a blob in the middle of that paper. And I'm thinking, that's very odd. There's no blob in the middle of this paper. It's actually on my laptop screen, so that's okay. That won't interfere with your view of it. You won't be having a strange little blob in the middle of your card, only me. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder. Let me pop that card to one side, and I'm going to take some wax paper. Wax paper is, useful for quite a few things. You can use it with some people use it with intricate dies. You can use it to wrap your sandwiches, and I think, as I've said before on other occasions, it's one of those things that here in the UK you would have to go searching in a craft shop. They're getting less and less common, and you might have to look on Amazon or some such, or a craft website. If you're elsewhere in the world, certainly in the States and things, I think you'll find it in the supermarket. We don't tend to use it here, so it is something that you would have to go hunting for in a, on Amazon or in a craft shop. So I've just cut myself a piece of wax paper that's about the same size as that embossing folder, and I'm going to run it through my stamping cut and emboss with the wax paper in the embossing folder. So I'm going to emboss that wax paper. So this is a 3D embossing folder, so I'm going to want my plate number 1. I'm going to put it so that my fold, so that this bit here of the embossing folder, the hinge of the embossing folder, will be going through the machine first. The reason that you do that is because as you put it through the machine, the pressure of it can cause your embossing folder to wobble a little bit, and if you've put it through this way or this way, it could be that could cause too much pressure on that hinge, and it can cause them to crack and things, which we obviously don't want. So put them through wherever possible, unless you're doing something odd that means you can't, but put them through hinge first. So base plate number 1, embossing folder with wax paper in, hinge first, and then we have our embossing plate number 4 because it is a 3D embossing folder. So let us run that through the machine. Now, if I take this out now, hopefully you can see that I have a beautifully embossed piece of wax paper. Now you can imagine that if this was vellum, that would be very pretty on a card, wouldn't it? So you could certainly use that embossing folder with some vellum to make a very pretty effect. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back in my piece of 12 by 12.9 by 12.9 cardstock. Words failed me then. I'm going to lay that facing downwards onto my piece of cardstock. I'm going to put a bit of copy paper just over the top. Bring that over a little bit, I think. And then behind me, plug it in, and hopefully nice and warm, I have an iron. It's my little craft iron. You can do this with your standard iron though. It doesn't have to be a craft iron. I'm going to iron my paper. Now what I want to do is I don't want to squidge it too much, but I do want to melt that wax. And where it is raised, I'm going to melt it to make a bit of a wax resist. Now hopefully, the trouble is you can't really see it. There's only one way to find out if that has worked properly. That is, and if I've pressed hard enough, and that is to bring in a blending brush. Let me grab a blending brush. Let me grab pumpkin pie ink, and you will see that that has indeed worked. Or hopefully you can pick up that has indeed worked. So what you get is a really soft sort of wax resist effect. Let's bring in a bit more pumpkin pie. I'm going to add in some more colours in a second. Let's bring in, got some old olive here. Quite like old olive. I'll move that iron out of the way so that I don't pop my arm on it. I like old olive for autumnal things. It's a nice soft green, and actually this is one occasion where you're quite careful if you're blending colours together, but actually on this occasion we won't mind too much if we get a little bit of brown appearing. Let's come in with a bit of yellow. This is crushed curry. Again, quite nice for those autumnal colours. And then we'll come in with a bit of, I think, a little bit of cherry cobbler. Let's have a bit of red. Right, now we've laid that down, I'm going to come in and add a bit more colour round and about. Come in with a bit more pumpkin pie just there. And a bit more olive oil. Down the bottom here, there isn't any of that embossing, so this is just blended card. You could, of course, have turned your embossing folder around and done the other corner as well, if you wanted to. Let's come in with some more crushed curry. It's quite cold up there, but let's bring in darker colour just there. And then let's come back in. Some cherry cobbler. So hopefully you can now see where that like a damasky type effect. It's not raised, it's completely smooth. Yeah, so you've got some of those leaves, and obviously it's sort of a little bit grungy where some of the wax is melted more than others. So it's a really lovely little technique. It's great with the embossing folders that have like all over patterns on them. I mean, this one obviously has got that sort of lots of leaves in that one corner that you can sort of pick up on. But yeah, it's a really pretty little technique. It's almost like, I think actually that needs to come. We seem to have a few leaves down the bottom here as well. Yeah, beautiful. Right, what I might do, let me bring in I was wondering whether I needed to come around the outside with some soft suede, but I don't think I do actually. I quite like the way that that is picked up. So you've just got this sort of hint of leaves in the background there. It's one of those, it's great fun. It's great fun to try out your different embossing folders and see what works. It might be quite fun with if you've got any like the snowy ones, or the there's like a mountain scene, I think, isn't there, embossing folder? There's a few new embossing folders. It'd be fun to try them with those. Let's have a little look what embossing folders we've got in the mini catalogue. There's some new ones, and I have got, I don't know if I've got them all, but I think I have. Yes, I've got the charming landscapes. Let's have a look at those. Which you can't see very well, but that's the one that's got sort of like mountains on and then a little village. That'd be quite fun to experiment with this sort of a technique, see how they work out. Trying to find what I'm looking for. What am I looking for? And the leaf fall, and then there's the whimsical woodland as well. That would be rather fun to try this technique with, all those Christmas trees. That's that. So we need a little label or something on here. We need something to put some greeting and things on. So I thought I would bring in one of the labels from the Rustic Harvest Suite. So they are the leaf labels and amber gem combo packs. So you get this set of gems, and then you get all of these craft card leaves, which were rather lovely. So I think we'll have one of those on there. We need to choose a greeting of some sort. I've also picked out the amber gem leaves. A couple of them might go with a couple of those leaves, possibly, and have the greeting on the top one. So I need to find a suitable sentiment to go on there. Picked up the Ringed with Nature, and I think we might go with the Just for You. And I've also bought some gold embossing powder, so we'll go with Just for You. We could also have Thinking of You, but I think Just for You is going to fit on there quite nicely. A couple of you said you've never seen this technique before. It's funny, every time I do it, I think, oh well, people must have all seen it by now. But I'm pleased that it has introduced this technique to somebody new. Something new to have a play with. Right, let's Just for You. I think that's a cue for a song. Let's heat that up. I did plug my my heat tool in. So there we go, that's that. Have that little leaf there. I also brought in some twine and some linen thread. Let's thread some linen thread through those holes, I think. Then we'll have another piece of linen thread to tie it round the top. Let's tie ourselves a little bow here. Cut that off and then I will arrange that and sort that out in a minute. Let's just straighten out these bits of thread. That and that go up there, that and that come down here. Let's make this bow a little shorter. Let's bring in a glue dot and just pop it in there and bring those leaves so they're together but apart. See if I can find any large dimensionals. We'll use the edge pieces from this pack and just pop those on the back here. And let us start to put this together. Put some of these bits away so we don't knock embossing powder all over the place. Let's see if our glue is going to work, having sat for inactive for over a week. Oh, well done, glue. It was upside down, so that's kept it ready to go. So let's put that Gingham Cottage pumpkin pie DSP in the back there. Then let's bring on our embossed and blended mat on the top. And we'll add in our Just For You leaves. Tumbling down there. And then while we've got these amber gems out, let's add in We won't add the hair. Let's add in some of these as well. So I'm not going to put much more on there because I want to highlight that technique. I don't want to bury it under lots of other things. So there you have, using wax paper to create a wax resist using the leaf fall 3D embossing folder. So a bit of fun, and I'm pleased to see that that's a new technique for some of you, and hopefully something that you're going to have a go at and a play with. Let's come back on up. As I said, I'm going to keep this one fairly short today because I've got 101 things on my to-do list that I have got to get done, but I didn't want to not come in and play for at least a little bit this morning. So it's been lovely to spend a little bit of time with you this morning. I will hopefully, all being well, be back on Friday morning for another project. And hopefully by the end of next week, we'll be starting to get back into something like a normal routine, whatever normal is. But in the meantime, have a good week, everybody, and take care. And I will be back with you on Friday.